friends, it's Teresa and welcome back to my channel. Today's video, as you guys can tell by the title, is me talking about my Spotify Wrapped, or like my top 11 songs on my Spotify Wrapped as books. I saw Lisa do this last year and it just looked like so much fun, and I haven't done like something as books, I don't think, all year, so I thought might as well just do my last and only one for 2022 and get it out of the way. But if you guys like this content, let me know in the comments, hit like, subscribe, all that jazz, and let's just kind of get into the video. And let me just adjust my camera angle here. So a lot of these, unsurprisingly, I think I have like 3 Harry Styles songs on here, 2 Dove Cameron songs, which if you guys know, like follow my personal Instagram, you know that Lazy Baby by Dove Cameron, R.I.P. you'll be missed, was on my top 10 of 2020 or 2021. Love that song. I listen to it illegally on YouTube all the time. But we have some of those. Surprisingly, no Taylor Swift this year, but I have a couple of other ones that I am very excited to talk about. So let's get into it. So the first one, the very top one, which took me by surprise, and at this point I'm pretty much convinced that Spotify Wrapped takes songs from like the first few months of the year and then just ignores the rest of them, because that song probably wouldn't have been top 1 by now. But that is As It Was by Harry Styles. This is the single that came out with, and I think the first song off of his third album, Harry's House. This song is basically just all about like things changing either for the better, for the worse, and like you're kind of torn between whether or not you're going to be the person that's going to be left behind, or if this is like a good thing happening. And for that song, I ended up choosing Gods of Jade and Shadow by Sylvia Moreno Garcia. I just think this is like the perfect song of things changing so rapidly, a relationship changing so rapidly or so slowly, and the questions of like whether or not things will stay the same, will they change, is it a good positive change, am I gonna like this, or am I just gonna miss you for the rest of my life? It was a very big part of this novel, especially toward the end. This is an adult high fantasy novel following young girl Cassiopeia as she is trying to escape from her abusive family's thumb. During this time, she ends up unlocking a small box that unleashes the God of Death, and because the God of Death has been like chopped apart and scattered throughout the land, she and the God of Death go on a little mission to piece them back together before he ends up sucking the life out of her. I love this story. It was one of my favorites of 2021. It's such a good book, and I highly recommend it if you haven't read it. It's just, it was so good, and I don't know why it takes me so long to read this book specifically. Like how she wrote it, like 1920s Mexico was so lush. The mythology was so lush. The characters were absolutely heartbreaking. And I love this book with all my heart. And when I was looking at the lyrics for As It Was, because sadly I am the kind of person that has to read something in order to like piece things together, I was like, this makes so much sense. I think I like this song with this book. And the next one is Boyfriend by Dove Cameron. That is my second song, top 2 song of the year, which I'm very surprised by. But this song is just all about like telling a girl that like, you know, you deserve better, way better, you can get better, and what's better than a man than me. Basically, like literally the song, like a big thirst trap on TikTok. In the song, the line was like, I could be a better boyfriend than him. So the book I picked for that is actually a favorite for me for this year, and that is Delilah Green Doesn't Care by Ashley Herring Blake. This is queer, which is why I chose it for this particular song. I feel like this, Delilah Green just has like, encapsulates the concept of like, I could be a better boyfriend than him. Do I want to be a boyfriend? No, but I could be a better boyfriend than him. And like all the things, just like very like strong energy, very much like, you know what, I could do all the things in bed that he cannot do, and that's a good thing. This book is an adult romance, Ashley Herring Blake's like venture into adult romances, following Delilah Green as she is now a pretty like up-and-coming photographer in New York. She ends up getting a request from her stepsister, whom she despises, to photograph her wedding. And as she goes back to her small town of Bright Falls, she ends up running into Claire, who is her stepsister Astrid's like best friend, and the two of them begin a very slow burn but kind of forbidden romance, because Astrid and Delilah Green do not care and do not get along. I love this book. This book was so fun. I enjoyed reading it from cover to cover, and it was such a fun read for me. I don't remember if I did a review on this book per se, but if I did, I will leave it linked down below. You guys can read all about it or watch it. But I highly recommend this book if you haven't read it, and I think it perfectly fits the whole very like, I guess, strong vibe that is Boyfriend by Dove Cameron. The next one is Music for a Sushi Restaurant by Harry Styles. It's just a very fun song. Like, I don't know what about it, it just screams, like, it's just a very fun, lighthearted song, very goofy, very, like, very still cute and lovey, but still very fun and goofy and entertaining. The book that I decided after much deliberation between me and the council of my brain cell, I should say, I just ended up going with the book, and the book that I ended up going with is Dial A for Aunties by Jessica Q. Sutanto. This is an adult rom-com, an adult rom-com following young Medi, who is a photographer for her family's like wedding business, and because her family is now like, why aren't you married? Why aren't you dating? They sign her up for a dating app, and during on this date that she did not want to go on in the first place, she ends up accidentally killing the guy. And instead of, you know, calling the cops, doing the whole shebang, she calls her aunts and her mom shove the guy in a cooler, and that cooler accidentally comes with them to the gig that they're working at. The gig that so happens to have her boyfriend, who is now hosting the hotel. I think it's just a very fun kind of chaotic book, which I think fits for Music for a Sushi Restaurant because it is very chaotic. They're still very fun, and then to boot, you also get the undertone of like romance in there going on, and it's just, I think it just fits perfectly, and it's funny, and I like it, and it's fun. I don't know how else I could say it. The next song is Orlando by Sherry Amor, or Sherry Amor. I can't, my throat's dry. Sherry Amor, close enough. But this is just the song covers a very toxic relationship. There's the lines literally like, use me up again, recycle my love, and it talks about how like he would rather have her cheat on him than not be with her at all. So I just kind of went with like very toxic relationship kind of vibes, and for that book I ended up choosing Laura Dean Keeps Breaking Up With Me by Mariko Tamaki and Rosemary Valero O'Connell. This is a YA graphic novel following young Freddie as she's navigating through this very toxic relationship with Laura Dean, who continues to break up with her, to cheat on her, and when she thinks she's finally done, Laura Dean does something that makes Freddie want to take her back. I think it just fit the whole concept of like a very toxic relationship that should end, that needs to end, that probably won't end because you are still very much stuck on the concept of like them as a person, them as a romantic partner, even though the partnership itself isn't the healthiest. And it's causing to be a detriment to everything. I wasn't the biggest fan of this book. I think I gave it like a 3 or 4. It was good. I like the artwork. I just think that there was just too much going on within the plot for me to feel like the ending was in any way cohesive or wrapped up. I felt like there could have been a series of graphic novels following Freddie, and instead it was just like a very short graphic novel, and I was just like, The next song is Habang Buhay by Zach Tubudlo. This is just, it's a song in Tagalog, I think. I think it's in Tagalog. I recognize most of the lyrics, which makes me think it's in Tagalog because I don't speak any other like Filipino language. So keep that in mind. But it's just a song about like growing, like a very sweet love, kind of growing old together, very much like the direct translation to the very beginning lyrics is like, what is it about you? When I look at you, the whole world stops. So I was like, I need something like a very sweet book, very like down to earth and cute. So I tried to find a Filipino book that I read recently that fits that, and I couldn't think of anything. So I ended up going with an author who wrote a half Filipino character in one of her previous books, and that is Alexis Daria, and sounds a lot like Adios. I read this year again, and I really did enjoy it. It's an adult romance novel. This follows two like childhood best friends, Gabe and Michelle, and two of them were super close and even wrote fan fiction of a favorite TV show that they were together. After one fateful night during their senior year, they end up having a falling out and go their separate ways. Now as adult, Michelle's kind of burnt herself out in her marketing degree or her marketing career and is seeking a way to like kind of like bring herself back up. Gabe, on the other hand, is on the completely other side of the globe, or I guess the continent, on the other coast, and is running his own gym and is looking to expand back into his hometown in New York, and asks Michelle to help cover the marketing components of opening a new branch and rebranding and all that fun stuff. I think it just fits just because I like they're just very sweet on each other. They're very sweet on each other because they are childhood friends to lovers, like childhood friends to strangers to friends to lovers, I guess, or just lovers. And I think that like Gabe just adores this woman, so I think like I could see him should he be able to speak in Tagalog. Like singing this to Michelle as a corny way, because it is just a very sweet song talking about how much you love the girl you're with and how much like the world stops when like, you look at her and you can't wait to like grow old, and like you can't think of them being with anyone else, and like you're gonna love them even when like their back's all hunched over and all that stuff. Literal line from the song, by the way. But I also highly recommend this book. It's probably one of my favorites of the year. I can't wait for Alexis Daria to come out with more novels, because I believe there's a third book coming out, which I desperately need, because it was just so good and it was just so great, and I just love her. And also the smut scenes in this one had me blushing, which is a very rare thing for things to happen to Therese. So take that as you will. The next song is Breakfast by Dove Cameron. This is literally just being like, I am better than you. I could squish you between my thumb and my index finger and I would not struggle in the slightest. And that one, this one was pretty easy, because I was just like, listen, there is one thing that I think of when I think of someone who can crush you like a little grape between her little index finger and thumb, and that is Miss Kiyoshi from Rise of Kiyoshi by FCE. This is a YA telling of Kiyoshi's like saga as she starts from nothing to becoming the avatar of the Four Nations. I think it fits. I don't think like I think it fits. Like you could, as you see like the rise of, like throughout Rise of Kiyoshi and Shadows of Kiyoshi, you'll definitely see very much like elements of like, I am stronger than you. You are squishy to me. I can crush you. And it's definitely there with Kiyoshi, because she's just such a badass avatar. And I need more content from her, whether it be a graphic novel, another book, her own spin-off series, something, because I just like me a woman that can crush me under her feet like I am nothing to them. The next song is Butterflies by Fiji Blue. It's just a very sweet love song, very like beginning stages of love where like everyone gives you butterflies. It's also just a very chill, calm song. I don't listen to a lot of those. And the book that I read, I actually ended up going with it just because I saw the title, I could hear the lyrics, and it just fit perfectly. Like, you could hear the little click, like a puzzle piece. And I ended up choosing Heartstopper Volume 1 by Alice Oseman. This is a YA graphic novel following young, I always confuse her names, Charlie, who is kind of like who's like in the groove of himself. You know, he's still a little shy, very quiet. He has been out of the closet, but it's obvious that it took a little bit of strain on him. And then he befriends Nick, who is a local rugby player, and as their friendship grows into something more, Nick starts to question his own sexuality. I just think it's perfect. Butterflies by Fiji Blue is just very like soft romance, very much like getting in your feels, feeling the little butterflies in your stomach when you see someone when you first meet them. And I think it sums up Nick and Charlie's like budding relationship very well. I also highly recommend the graphic novel. I know, a lot of people have already read this book, and you're like, Therese, we know. So I will be one of those other people telling you to read the graphic novel if you haven't, because I was the person who didn't read the graphic novel when she should have, and now I'm playing catch up, as per is Therese's normal personality trait, I feel, at this point in my life. I just struggle to hop on bandwagons, and then I'm like, oh my god, it's so good, and everyone and their mom is like, I know, we told you. So don't be me. Pick it up as I'm telling you now, if you haven't already. The next song is God Sent Me As Karma by Emmeline. This song is a very just like empowering song, very much like you kind of fucked around and now I am the reason you found out. And I ended up going with The Wolf of Oren-Yaro by K.S. Veloso. This is an adult high fantasy novel following, what's her name? Following Tal Yen as she is trying to reclaim her throne, or kind of bring about peace to her kingdom after after the death of her father and her husband leaving her, all on her coronation night. I have the second book like right here. I need to read the second book, but this first book is very much political power, very much like political intrigue, very much like learning about the politics of this land, which is based off of pre-colonial Philippines. So I highly recommend this book if you haven't read it. I need to read the second book, which I will do probably in the new year. But Tal Yen in general just gives me very much like, you fuck around and I will tell you how you find out. Like, she's just very much like, if the song just reminds me of Tal Yen. Very strong, very powerful, very much like I will destroy you and crush you into oblivion. She scares me. Tal Yen terrifies me. Very much I will crush you into oblivion, which is very much the vibes the song gives me and Tal Yen gives me. So as we should take from this, from Rise of Kyoshi and then Wolf of Oren-yaro, BIPOC women in positions of power are perfect. And frightening, but perfect. Is number 9 on this list, which I'm surprised is so low on the list because I have listened to this song pretty frequently post the release. So again, I think Spotify just takes in like songs that you listen to like toward the beginning of the year and completely negate any other song you listen to after like the 6-month mark. But that song is Late Night Talking by Harry Styles from his 3rd album, Harry's House. This is just a very sweet song, very much like I don't know how to describe it. It's very sweet love, very much like I need you to be mine and that you're mine, where everything's gonna be good. I'll do any, like very simpy. Yeah, that would be a good description. Very simpy, very sweet love, and just very like cute. And the book that I ended up choosing for that is actually You've Reached Sam by Destin Tao. Now, I know this book is very sad. This is a YA contemporary novel following young Julie as she is navigating now having lost her boyfriend, Sam. One day as she's kind of trying to avoid these feelings, she ends up calling Sam's phone, needing to hear like a voicemail, just like confirm that he's dead or whatever. And lo and behold, he picks up. And it's just like kind of, I guess the parts that are sweet and kind and like very heartwarming remind me of this song because it's very much like, it gives me like first love vibes. It gives me very much like, I'm very happy you're mine, very like pure love, and it as best way I can put it. So I think it's cute. I recommend this book. I think I did a vlog on this book among others, so I will leave those linked down below for y'all to be able to read, to watch and see what my thoughts on are. My thoughts on them are, I am hungry and I am tired. So this is where I'm at right now. But I highly recommend this book if you haven't read it already. It's good. It's sad, but it's good. I'm gonna give it a 3. So I recommend this book. The second to last song is, which again, I don't know how it's so low on this list, but whatever. And that is My Dude by Litany. It's just a very sweet, like, I guess like pining song, very piney, very like chill and piney, not so sad and pining, but very like chill, kind of upbeat. Like the tempo is very upbeat, the lyrics are pretty upbeat. It's just a girl pining over a guy being like, I heard that you have a new girlfriend and I'm sure she's perfect for you, but you should be my dude. Ooh. And something about that vibe just gave me very much Chain of Iron by Cassandra Clare. There's a lot of pining in this novel. A lot of pining, specifically between like James and Cordelia, then Matthew to Cordelia, and then Alistair and Thomas, and then Lucy and it's just a lot of pining, lots of pining. This is a YA historical fantasy following the children of the Infernal Devices. It's Wales kids and everything, and it's following them as they're trying to learn about this new like threat that's happening within their universe, the Shadowhunter universe. I use this simply because Cordelia and James both give me my dude vibes, very much like, you know, I think you're with someone right now and like they're probably perfect for you and like everything lines up, but I think it'd be fun if we were together and it'd be good if we were together. It just works, I feel, is in my brain. I can't wait for, oh gosh, Chain of Thorns comes out in like less than like in a month, a little over a month. Oh god. Well, that's a fun thing to think about. I'm not gonna think about it, but it's a fun thing to think about. The last song on this list is actually Addiction by Doja Cat. Love me some good Doja Cat. And I found this song on TikTok because everyone was talking about her newer albums, and someone was like, no, everyone knows this album's where it's at. And I was like, okay, I'll listen to it. But I don't even know how to describe this song. I guess like it's very much like she literally says I'm addicted a little, under the influence a little. It's just I guess like her being very attached to a man, all that fun stuff. I ended up choosing, it's a little bit of a funnier pick, but that is Bromance Book Club by Lisa K. Adams. I don't know if it's just the line in the song that goes, I call you daddy because the first one up and left. And there's a lot of daddy issues in this book. Neither here nor there. But I think it just fits because I feel like the two of them, they're very drawn toward each other, but it's also very much like, you know, probably not best. This is an adult, like almost rom-com novel following young Gavin. Yes, Gavin, who his wife is now announcing, like filing for divorce because, among other things, he found out that he was not helping her climax in bed. Now, in order to help him, his brosifs, give him a little helping hand and have him join the book club, where they read romance books to try to become better lovers to their lovers, and also just become a better partner overall. A better assistant, better father, etc., etc. Because in their eyes, reading romance books is like a manual to women, because it's written by women, set in like less than desirable situations, and it's just like, I don't even remember their reasoning for it. It made sense when you read the book, but like saying it out loud, not so much anymore. I did enjoy this book. I think it fits the song because like the song is just a little bit sexy, a little bit flirty, very much like I just want you in bed kind of vibe. And I think the Bromance Book Club is like literally a book surrounding like romance and like sex, and it's just also very fun and very flirty and getting to the roots of like the beginnings of a romance, which I really enjoyed. So yeah, also a favorite of mine for the year, so I highly recommend it. But that is it for my Spotify Wrapped as books. I actually had a lot of fun with this. It's been a minute. I used to do a lot of these books, like these videos as books as something situation, but it's been so long. And I did like Taylor Swift's like Red album was like I think 30 songs, and that knocked it out of me for the next like year. So I might do more of these or start bringing them back into like my rotation in 2023, given that Taylor Swift does not release another 30 song album. But no promises there. She still has a couple more re-releases to get through. But if you guys like this video and want me to do more, let me know in the comments below. And until next time, hopefully you guys are having a wonderful weekend. Yes, weekend. And I'll talk to you guys in my next video. Bye.
It's the end of the year. Everywhere on TV, couples and Christmas trees.